Caitlin Clark out for the remainder of the 2025 season, something we all think we knew was coming after what Stephanie White said earlier today. We couldn't be too sure until we see it for ourselves. And with this announcement from the GOAT's mouth herself, Caitlin Clark won't be returning this season.
Caitlin Clark just slammed the brakes on the entire 2025 season, and the internet is spiraling faster than a broken washing machine. One statement from her, and suddenly fans don't know whether to cry, riot, or start conspiracy theories involving Gatorade and astrology. This isn't the kind of headline you scroll past. It's the type that grabs your brain, shakes it around, and screams, "You better pay attention, because everything just changed."
Not surprising at this point, but still incredibly disappointing. Caitlin Clark officially done for the 2025 WNBA season, as she and the Fever announced on social media. The Fever and Clark saying that she tried to get back on the floor. It appears that she just ran out of time, not able to get enough confidence back in her body as the season wraps up and the playoffs are likely about to begin for Indiana. I mean, it's a gut punch that basically encompasses an entire season.
So here we are, staring at the possibility that Caitlin Clark's basketball fairy tale just ran out of chapters way too soon. The girl who turned every arena into a sold-out circus, who made even casual fans suddenly care about women's hoops, is now sitting on the sideline, looking like the most tragic what-if in recent memory. And let's not sugarcoat this, the whispers have already started. Is this it? Could one injury erase all the hype, the records, the ESPN highlight reels, and turn her into the ultimate one-season wonder?
Statement saying this: I had hoped to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season. I spent hours in the gym every day with the singular goal of getting back out there. Disappointed isn't a big enough word to describe how I am feeling. I want to thank everyone who had my back through all the uncertainty. This has been incredibly frustrating, but even in the bad, there is good. The way the fans continue to show up for me, and for the Fever, brought me so much joy and important perspective. I am so proud of how this team has only gotten stronger through adversity this year. Now it's time to close out the season and claim our spot in the
Because let's be honest, the sports world has the memory of a goldfish. One moment you're the golden child of basketball, the next you're a footnote mentioned in passing while people debate whether the rookie of 2026 is the real deal. Clark had one spectacular season, a season that looked like the launchpad to superstardom. And now she's stuck with the kind of medical chart that makes even optimistic fans start Googling athletes who never recovered. It's brutal. Sports doesn't care how many jerseys you sold or how many kids plastered your name on their bedroom wall. Sports only cares if you keep showing up.
Fever have lost so many players to injury, but obviously none bigger than Clark. And there was such a wait for this second season after her magnificent rookie season. And then, you know, the anticipation of her possibly coming back, only for that not to happen, takes a lot of air out of the room, obviously takes a lot of energy out of the fans, and is a devastating blow for not just the Fever and the WNBA, but the good news is her career is not over. But, you know, it's a tough blow when it all comes crashing down like that. And, you know, ever since Stephanie White's...
And right now, Caitlin Clark isn't showing up on the court. She's showing up in press conferences, reading carefully worded statements that sound way too much like damage control. The vibe is less "I'll be back stronger" and more "please don't forget about me while I vanish into rehab purgatory."
All right, so now, I don't know who asked the question. The young lady, shout out to you. She said, hey, are you guys gonna make an announcement? Like that, like, I appreciate you at least. You didn't say it as blunt as I would have, but you said it. You asked the question. Hey, because now she's saying, yeah, you know, the plan on this West Coast trip was to evaluate. How you gonna evaluate her if she never had contact? What's the evaluation? She's been able to shoot jump shots. She's been able to run up and down the court by herself with nobody touching her. What was there to evaluate? Now you're pushing it through the weekend, leading us on, having us dangling in the air.
And of course, the trolls are having a field day. The same people who couldn't even spell her name a year ago are suddenly orthopedic specialists, predicting she'll never dribble again. They're turning her into the Greg Oden of women's basketball before she even cashes her second paycheck. It's savage, but that's the internet. If you don't perform, you're entertainment in a whole new way. Some players bounce back like they're made of rubber bands. Others crumble like a stale cookie, and nobody really knows which side of that line Clark will land on. Not long ago, she was torching defenses, dropping points like a video game cheat code, smiling her way through post-game interviews as if she had solved basketball itself. Now, she's a question mark.
Well, there you have it, folks. My hot take from earlier this year, all of a sudden, not so hot. Caitlin Clark announced that she's going to be out for the rest of the season. Obviously, a nice little post here thanking her teammates, saying she fought back, was in the gym trying to come back. She wanted to, but Caitlin Clark not returning for the rest of the season. It makes sense considering where the Fever are at in the playoffs right now. Right now, they are making the playoffs. They're the 8th seed, so it would be the final seed there. But are they going to make much noise? Chloe Bibby just went out for the rest of the season. She was one of the...
Every update on her condition reads like a soap opera script. Will she ever return? Will she be the same player? Is her confidence shaken? Fans aren't watching highlights anymore. They're dissecting medical reports because it's easier than admitting that maybe, just maybe, they already watched her peak. The harsh reality is some careers don't end with farewell tours and ovations. Some careers just stop. And the media isn't helping. They're already writing think pieces. Was she overrated? Was she just hype? Does this prove women's basketball can't carry a superstar the way the men's game can? It's exhausting. But that's how this works.
Clark is out for the rest of the WNBA season. She had posted this whole statement on Instagram as well as the Fever officially announcing it just now here on this Thursday evening. And there have been some talks about from the Fever staff about her potentially trying to come back, and they had kind of been trying to drag this out as much as possible over the course of this season, but there simply seems to just not be enough time in this season for them to fully feel comfortable in getting her healthy. And the message that has been sent has always been the most important thing is her long-term health. That is what the Indiana Fever...
Injuries aren't just injuries. They have to become symbols, storylines, drama that looks good on a chyron. So now her knee isn't just her knee, it's the centerpiece of a debate about the future of the sport. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room. One season. That's all she got before the walls came crashing down. One magical run, one reel of viral highlights, one season as the chosen one. If that's the full resume, what do we make of it? Greatness? Or just a really entertaining fling with destiny? Sports history books don't love short stories. They love sagas.
Young lady finally had the balls to ask somebody, hey, are you guys gonna make an announcement? You said you're having a meeting. You had your evaluation on the West Coast trip. Now you're gonna have a meeting. Are you guys gonna let the fans know what the hell is going on? Because y'all keep collecting ticket money. Y'all keep promoting that she's gonna be at this arena and that arena. Y'all keep saying that she's day to day. First we heard she might be back for the Minnesota Lynx the first time we played them a week ago. She wasn't even ready for that. A miraculous ankle injury popped up.
Clark might become basketball's ultimate lost potential story, forever frozen as the unstoppable force who never got a sequel. That might even make her bigger than if she played another 10 seasons at very good. Fans love tragedy almost as much as they love champions, so here we are. Caitlin Clark, once the unstoppable storm, now the world's most fascinating question mark. Her injury could be a blip in a dominant career, or the line that closes the book. Nobody knows. But the juiciest headline of all, what if she never recovers?
Well, here we are. The next morning after it was announced that Caitlin Clark would not be returning this season, something that I think most of us pretty much knew for maybe at least the last couple of weeks. I heavily suspected it for the last, if I'm being real, last month. Although I kept kind of holding out hope because, well, I wanted a reason to keep watching these games. And that's why the Indiana Fever has gotten dogged out as an organization.
1 minute she's the headline, the next she's the cautionary tale coaches bring up in practice. And the media, they're drooling. They love building stars just to tear them down. Caitlin Clark was the golden goose. Ratings, jerseys, viral clips, she delivered. But now the narrative has shifted to speculation, fear, and drama. Forget rehab timelines. This is about whether an empire collapsed before it even began.
And to the disappointment to a lot of people, she will not play for the rest of the season. Now, what does this mean for her? Rest. Big time rest. Get healthy. That's the number one thing. When you miss a full season, it's tough to come back and not be rusty. So I think a lot of the offseason is going to be spent rehabbing her legs, getting stronger, and just working towards getting back to 2026 so that she can be healthy and take on the full season.
Her margin for error is microscopic. She doesn't have a decade of championships or MVPs to fall back on. She has one season. That's at point one glorious season where she looked untouchable. If she can't build on that, her career might be reduced to a YouTube playlist, Caitlin Clark's best plays before the injury. And nobody wants to be a playlist instead of a legacy.
A conversation and a agreement that would have happened between the Fever organization and I assume Kathy Engelbert and the WNBA. We don't want to mess these ratings up now. We don't want to mess those ratings up now, do we? Let's make it look like she's going to come back. So I knew there was going to be a lot of reaction today and last night, overnight. And Amber Cox, the CEO and general manager for the Fever, has released a statement on Twitter X, and it has gotten quite the response from Caitlin Clark fans.
Here's the cruelest part. She could heal, return, and still be forgotten. The mental game might be even tougher than the physical one. Imagine being used to dominating every night, then watching from the sidelines as others steal your thunder. It eats at you, and then there's the pressure. Imagine being told you're the face of the league, the savior of the sport, then realizing the future might not include you at all. That's not rehab. That's a mental demolition.
WNBA ratings worst nightmare just came true because it was just announced that Caitlin Clark will be out for the rest of the season. She's only played 13 games this season, and her most recent injury, which happened back in July, was a groin injury. The craziest part about all of this has been the reporting around her injury. The team has never given her a timetable for return, and literally up until today, the team had been reporting that she was still trying to get back on the court this season. The Fever only have 3 regular season games left in the season before playoffs. Some fans were even speculating that they've just been stringing fans along the whole time because they know that ratings and attendance.
What's wild is how this one injury might completely redefine her. If she comes back and dominates, she's not just a star. She's a legend. The comeback kid. But if she doesn't, she's the tragic figure. The one who had it all and lost it too soon. Either way, she's stamped in history. The question is, under heroes or tragedies?
I don't know. Caitlin Clark recently put out a statement basically saying that she is out for the remainder of the season. Sad news for the basketball world. Avid WNBA fans know that Caitlin Clark has been sidelined for weeks, actually months, due to her groin injury. Has been putting a lot of work in, rehabbing, trying to get back onto the court. And some people had high hopes that she would make it back in time for the playoffs because right now the Fever sit at the 8th spot. Not sure if they'll be able to keep the 8th spot and get into the playoffs, but a lot of people had high hopes that she would make it back in time for the playoffs. I'm personally glad that the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark decided to just rest her for the rest of the season and just shut it down.
One moment you're immortal, the next, fragile. So here's the million-dollar question. Is this the end, or just the most dramatic halftime break in sports history? Either Caitlin Clark stages the greatest comeback since sliced bread hit grocery shelves, or she fades as the most famous one-hit wonder women's basketball has ever seen. By the time she's ready, if she's ready, the spotlight may have moved on. But whatever happens, she's already done something most athletes never achieve. She's made herself impossible to ignore. The only real question left is this: if she returns, what version of Caitlin Clark will we get? A comeback queen? Or the ghost of a career that ended before it truly began? Either way, the world won't stop watching.